Today, I'm sharing my earth-shattering IEP tips that parents should know before their first IEP meeting. This video is created for parents, but will help educators and anyone interested in understanding the IEP process better. These tips will help you whether you are brand new to the world of IEPs or more experienced. So even if you're heading into your 50th IEP, I recommend hanging around for these valuable tips to mastering the IEP process. Hi, welcome to Disability Ed Pros. I'm Diana Fannin, epilepsy warrior, school psychologist, special education director, and autism mama. On this channel, I share evidence-based strategies, advocacy tips, and personal insights to empower parents of children with disabilities. So first, we're going to do a brief overview so everyone knows exactly what we're talking about. An Individualized Education Program, or IEP, is a legally binding document that outlines the educational plan for a student with disabilities. It's important to know that the IEP is grounded in both federal law, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA, and state education codes, which may differ slightly from state to state. However, since they all stem from IDEA, the core principles always remain consistent. Now, the importance of the IEP. The IEP process ensures that your child receives the support that they need to succeed academically and socially. The social aspect isn't just about friendships, even though it can support peer relationships and the skills required to build them. It is about social emotional health and well-being for your child. With that quick little background, let's get right into our earth-shattering IEP tips. Tip 1. Take time to review the IEP before signing. Did you know that you don't have to sign the IEP immediately after the IEP meeting? You can take the document home to review it thoroughly, and discuss it with family members, professionals, or advocates, and gather feedback. You have the right to take the IEP document home after the meeting for further review. This allows you the time to carefully go through the details, ensuring that you fully understand and agree with the proposed plan for your child. Having this opportunity to discuss the IEP, to review the IEP with other family members, professionals, or advocates, it means you'll get to share it with others who can offer valuable insights. And I do recommend that you discuss with others and get feedback always. Remember, when you sign that IEP, your signature is an acknowledgement of your agreement with the IEP. If you need additional time for consideration, or if you have any questions, it's perfectly within your rights to delay signing, and it's perfectly reasonable. Open communication with the IEP team is crucial, and they should be willing to address your concerns and collaborate with you to create the best plan for your child's education. This step empowers you as parents to make well-informed decisions that align with your child's needs. Did you know that you don't have to agree or disagree with the whole IEP? So we just talked about the fact that you can take your time considering signing the IEP, considering your agreement or disagreement with the IEP. This piece is as important or maybe even more important than the previous one. It is critical to know that you can express agreement or disagreement with specific components. So you don't have to say yes to everything or no to everything. It's not all or nothing. You can negotiate and collaborate with the IEP team on individual elements of the plan. If there are particular goals, accommodations, or services that you feel need adjustment, don't hesitate to voice your concerns. So how does this help your child? Why is this one so important? This approach allows your child to receive immediate support where you agree, while you work with the school to modify other elements. It also helps to maintain a positive, collaborative relationship with the IEP team and ensures that your child gets the necessary assistance without delay. So in a little more detail, by indicating what you agree with, by signing for what we call partial implementation, and what you don't agree with in writing, you can prioritize immediate support and services that are critical for your child's well-being, even if there are still some pieces or parts of the IEP that you don't agree with. This means that partial implementation piece, what that means is that those things can be implemented right away. You can choose to agree on certain points as a way of finding a middle ground that addresses both the school's objectives and the specific needs of the child. Tip 3, always share parent input in writing. Always, always, always share what you're thinking, what you're disagreeing with, what you're agreeing with in writing. This is one that I cannot talk about enough, and you will hear me say it over and over and over again. During the IEP process and during any other process, always share via email or letter, and this gives you a clear record of your concerns. It gives you a clear document, and it allows for to be sure that there is no miscommunication. It makes sure they're accurately captured by the IEP team. This can be particularly crucial if there are disagreements or if you need to reference specific points during future discussions or meetings. It also maintains transparent communication and minimizes the risk of miscommunication. Keep your input concise, focused, and constructive, and include specific examples to enhance the clarity of your communication. So this means you don't have to cite references. We're not writing a college thesis or a doctorate, we're not writing your dissertation. In fact, you can even write using bullet points, just as long as you're bringing clarity to your communication and it's really easy to understand. The more you do that, the better. So what kinds of things would you put in writing? A parent letter of attachment, also known as parent concerns, your agreement or disagreement with the IEP, request for additional assessment, or a request for an independent educational evaluation, also known as an IEE, just to name a few. And I will do more videos in the future to discuss those types of things in greater detail. But the important thing is to document everything in writing. Keep it concise, focused, and constructive. Wherever you can include specific examples and relevant details, I highly recommend it because that helps whoever you're sending it to understand, and it can add to the impact of your communication. Tip 4. Did you know that you have the right to request an IEP meeting at any time? This can be based on concerns about your child's progress, changes in behavior, or any other relevant issues. It's a proactive way for you to ensure that your child's educational needs are being addressed effectively. When you make the request, it's helpful to be specific about the reason for the meeting and any particular areas of concern or improvement that you would like to discuss. In addition to being specific about the reasons, you can support the request by documenting observations or examples of your child's academic and social development, anything you're seeing that is leading to your request. It really does help to highlight any challenges that your child is experiencing. And it's really, really important to be proactive in addressing concerns to make sure that the IEP remains a tailored and effective plan for your child's education. And because it has to be said, it's really important that you communicate with the school in writing when you request your IEP meeting. It serves as a record of your communication, and it helps to show that you're really working to collaborate with your school team to support your child's education. I will often share that I don't think things have to be a battle. So you can be open and constructive and collaborative in your dialogue with the school team. And I think that's usually the best way to achieve a positive outcome during the IEP process. And another little tip, under IDEA, schools are generally required to respond to IEP meeting requests in a timely manner. For example, I'm in California and it's 30 days here. So check your state's educational code for specific timelines to ensure that there are no delays. Tip 5, policy never ever trumps law. Special education is legally protected under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, and that's a federal law. Your child's right to receive an appropriate education tailored to their individual needs is a legal entitlement, not a matter of school policy, and not just because it feels good to do. And so when you hear schools say things are not their policy or we don't do that, that is called predetermination, meaning they have already decided they're not going to do something. And there's more to predetermination, but this is one example of it. So you will hear things like, we don't have that program or we don't have that service. And so when you hear things like that in a meeting, then you need to start asking some questions. So what does it look like in practice? An example would be this. Your school district assesses your child who has speech and language delays, and the district does a great job. They do an assessment, they determine that your child needs services. So you think, great. But they give your child a program where speech and language is part of the program. It's embedded. Also great, right? It's a great way to do things. But then the IEP has 0 minutes of language and speech services as part of the IEP. So what is that? That's a policy, right? It's the way they're writing it on the IEP. They've clearly indicated a need and they're providing for that need. So this is all great, but then the IEP doesn't show that the child is receiving those services. So the problem is, what if your child with that IEP takes that IEP and goes to a different district? The district would see 0 minutes, and so when your child starts in that district, they would start with 0 minutes. And that's where it becomes an issue. The IEP should always pass what we call the stranger test. That means that goals and objectives, services should be written in a way that someone who's unfamiliar with a student or a district could implement them. So it's really, really important to just push a little, poke a little, ask those questions, and to familiarize yourselves with the key provisions of IDEA, such as the right to an IEP, the principle of free and appropriate public education, or FAPE, and procedural safeguards. Understanding these legal foundations will empower you and give you the confidence to advocate effectively for your child's rights within the educational system. You can advocate for your child in a collaborative manner by asking for clarifications. So you don't have to know everything, but you just need to know that you can ask. What does this mean? Why is this happening? So talk about these policies. Say, why is this the way that you do things? Is there another way that we can do things? Is there a way that we can accommodate schedules? It's crucial to be persistent and assertive. But we do want to aim for problem solving because the ultimate goal is to get services for your child, but never, ever, ever apologize for fighting for your child's rights. Okay, tip 6. Did you know that you can request the draft IEP document in advance of the meeting? Requesting the draft IEP document and assessments before the meeting empowers you to be better prepared and actively participate in the decision-making process. It gives you time to review any assessments, the proposed plan, the present levels, goals, and proposed accommodations, and come up with specific questions or points of clarification. Receiving the drafts beforehand ensures that your input is informed and targeted. Remember, it is your right as a parent to be an active participant in your child's education plan and their planning. Federal law under IDEA protects this right, and most states have similar protections in their educational codes. Having access to the drafts beforehand allows you to formulate specific questions, seek clarification on any points of confusion, and gather additional information if needed. This proactive approach enhances the quality of your participation during the meeting, ensuring that your input is well-informed and targeted. It's your right as a parent to be an active participant. And it's super important and really, really helpful because no one knows your child as well as you do. And having those drafts in advance enables you to contribute meaningfully to the collaborative process. Reach out to the school or the IEP team to request those materials, fostering a transparent and collaborative partnership that prioritizes the best interests of your child. Tip 7, and the last one for this video. Bring a trusted friend or family member to make sure your voice is heard, and never go through this alone if possible. You can also bring an advocate or an attorney, and if you ever have a question or need advice on the best time to move to that level of support, I'd be more than happy to provide you with guidance on that. Other reasons to bring someone: it lets the district know you take it seriously, and it lets them know there's someone who has your back. Even if they know you have a partner at home and they've met them before and they've been at the school, there is something different about having support in person. Another tip related to this: debrief with your spouse or partner or advocate after the meeting. Compare notes. Did one of you see something the other missed or hear something the other missed? Do you both have concerns, or did one of you experience something totally different? Because you can be in the same meeting and have a completely different experience. I've had that happen. Bouncing your thoughts and feelings off each other can be really, really helpful. So in closing, it is helpful to be an active participant, and you can learn to be an active participant if it's been a struggle in the past. Voice your opinion, share your insights and perspectives confidently. Your input as a parent is invaluable. I would love to hear from you. If something resonated with you, if you felt like you want to see more of something, please drop a comment and I will do my best to address those in future videos. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you again soon. Bye.